So today we're going in for day 2 of the World Championship event that was hosted on Arena. The event's obviously over by now, but I was able to record some of this over the weekend and just get in a few games with the deck lists of the 2 finalists, Yuta Takahashi and Jean-Emmanuel Depras. So yesterday, of course, we played a few games with Yuta Takahashi's winning Is It Dragons list. So today we're trying out Jean-Emmanuel Depras' Temur Treasures list, as he calls it, which is basically a Gruul aggro list that you might remember from last season and from Standard 2022. Splashing blue just so you can run things like Negate, Disdainful Stroke, and a few other things in the sideboard. But yeah, it's a deck that's capable of really explosive starts, a lot of aggression, and can just really outpace some of the other aggro decks and definitely outpace some of the combo and control decks that were very popular in the tournament. But I'm sure you've all had a chance to catch up on what happened in the tournament. If you haven't, I suggest you go do a bit of reading, catch some of the games on video if you can find them. There's some really nice games in the tournament. But for now, you shuffle up and I'll see you in the arena. Okay, so it is a championship final rematch going on here. We're on the Temur Treasure deck from Jean-Emmanuel Depras, facing Yuta Takahashi, is it? His Dragons list. This hand is not amazing, but it seems reasonable. It's definitely capable. Definitely capable. Would love to see a Foretell or something here so that we know we're not going to get disruption. Smoldering Egg. That is fine. That gives us an opportunity to cast our Magda with impunity. So we're hoping it doesn't get removed. It can easily be blocked by the egg, but it does ramp us. Foretell and Epiphany. Okay, playing another egg. That is fantastic for us. Easy block for the opponent. Does the opponent have Cinderclasm main deck? I really hope not. Obviously, all the players in the actual championship would have to know their opponent's deck lists. I'm sure they would have been studying them like it was their job, because it was. But, I have not. Because it isn't really. I mean, it kind of is for something like this, but also kind of isn't. Iteration, that's fantastic for us. That's so good for us. So unfortunately, we don't have a means to get down a Goldspan Dragon early. And our opponent missed the land. That is very good for us. So I can play Ranger class now, level it up, or I can hold back and use the treasure to cast a post-combat Goldspan, but that doesn't seem particularly cash money. Go like this, tap Magda to get the treasure, and the wolf token so that we have the maximum number of attackers available. And we'll copy the wolf token so that we can't get as blown out by a Fading Hope. Just want to target one of the non-attacking creatures so that if there is a bounce or removal spell, they have to choose between minimizing damage or stopping us from getting the token. Counter on the Chariot, both because it's our biggest creature, but also we want to get it up to... Oh, that's a great sign for us as well, but they are very close to flipping their eggs. We want to get the Chariot out of range of Dragon's Fire, even with a dragon in hand. The Negate is great for us here, as is this Goldspan Dragon. This is an easy attack with all. Three damage off. Savage. So these eggs probably get to flip this turn, which is a big deal for our opponent, definitely, but hopefully we get to remove them with Shadow Skull Smashing. Hopefully. We get there. Feels good. Okay, we're on the draw, but I think the hand is about as good as it gets. Obviously, we don't have anything going on other than the Wombo combo, but we have the Wombo combo, so who's complaining? Just had to go shut my door there. Oh, mono white. Interesting. Backup Magda is nice. This doesn't even have to be your cards, just any cards put into exile on your turn. That's fantastic. That is just fantastic. Oh, I was going to say the only thing we overlooked was we don't have red mana, but we do have red mana. I found it. So we have secured a Goldspan Dragon for next turn. Almost definitely. No attack from our opponent. You love to see that. I think I'm safe to actually just play this for blue mana. And this comes in with a treasure already on the battlefield. That is degenerate. We are back up to 4 mana. And we can kill both of these. That's disgusting. How do you come back from that? It's funny, I've actually been thinking, like, obviously a lot of people were playing werewolves, Gruul werewolves at the start of the season, and I was convinced the Sentinel Magda Goldspan Dragon Gruul deck was the best Gruul deck. But I have also had in the back of my mind, this could still be potentially just the best aggro deck in the format, like better than mono green. Never got around to crafting it because I hadn't played the deck before. I don't have most of the cards. So it's a bit of a tricky one. I think we can just remove the Sun Gold Sentinel here. A little bit of a tricky one for me. Just going to go attack all. We do have a backup Magda. Yeah, a little bit of a tricky one because I didn't have the cards. I hadn't played the deck before. I really would have liked to explore that a little bit on the channel before, you know. Depra did so well in the worlds with it, and now it just looks a little bit derivative, but yeah, no. Coulda, woulda, shoulda, you know. It is too late now. And I obviously am way more interested in looking into it now that he has got to the final match with it. It is derivative, so, you know, I don't get to seem original because I'm not particularly original. And it's not like the deck wasn't around before then. I definitely had not thought of splashing blue to get access to our counter spells, which is just great. God, that was degenerate. Okay, so we're up against someone using PVDDR's list, which definitely is mono green aggro. Our hand's a little bit slow. We've got life gain from the Innkeeper, which is really nice. And obviously the Sentinel Magda combination is really good as well. But we're going to be really dependent on the top of our deck, and we are going to be on the back foot being on the draw. Nonetheless, we're just going to see how it goes. Basically what I'm saying is I don't recommend you keep this hand at home. I'd feel a lot better with a Dragon's Fire in my hand, for example. Ranger class, sure. Still, I am a lot happier seeing that than a werewolf pack leader. Combo assembled. Looks like they could have the removal spell the way they're hovering over creatures here. Yeah, looks like it. The ridiculous thing here is I get to negate this. Didn't even occur to me. I hadn't actually registered. Wait, I get the mana from the Sentinel as well as the treasure. Does slow us down a little bit next turn, which is unfortunate, but that was clearly their plan for this turn, and we have shut that down, so we're feeling a lot better than we were. We do still have to answer the 3/3, and they have managed to keep us off the ramp, having the treasure. But we do get to basically vomit out our entire hand this turn. So that was a pretty good turn for us. Unfortunately, all of our creatures are pretty small compared to what our opponent's doing. And we're pretty much empty-handed now. But we are back up on 20 life, which is really nice. Opponent gets the chariot. That's a bit of a feels bad. So we are going to take 4 here from this wolf token. We can level up our own ranger class, but it still won't get anything through the chariot, which is quite unfortunate. This is something that this deck has always been a little bit prone to, is just running out of gas. You know, you often get the ramp pieces and just don't have anything to do with it. And, you know, over the next 1 or 2 turns, the fact that we were able to get this far ahead and we'll keep producing treasures, but that will become less and less relevant as time goes on. However, we have drawn a Goldspan Dragon. Which is just always fantastic. Opponent's tapped out, so there's not much they can do here. So I think we spend our mana, level up Ranger class, and get Goldspan Dragon up to a 5/5. Opponent's holding priority because they can activate the chariot. They are tapped out though, so if they activate it, they can't do anything. Like, they can't have a fight spell here. So this was about the best possible top deck for us. Unfortunately, we are still quite vulnerable at the moment. I really should have just played this land. That's an oopsie. We are still vulnerable because we don't have anything in hand. We can't protect the dragon. This does get us a little bit of an advantage, but our opponent's going to be attacking with 2 creatures that are significantly larger than anything we have. They do have the fight spell. So unfortunately, this does get the +1/+0 and become indestructible. So yeah, I think we might be getting inched out of this particular game. Just our draw didn't quite line up to what our opponent is doing, and we kind of knew that with our opening hand, but I took a speculative keep anyway. Do I take 10 here? I think I do. I'm going to say we really needed something big off the top there, and that isn't it. So we can attack, pump something up, but that doesn't really accomplish anything. We still die either next turn or the turn after. So given there are no stakes here, I think we just scoop this up, let our opponent have the win. Good game, buddy. So as I said, watching at home, don't keep that hand that we kept under this situation where you know your opponent's on mono green. So we didn't do quite as well with Depra's list. We did get a loss in the third game there. A little bit of a shame, but I did keep a pretty sketchy hand. I knew I was up against an aggressive deck, and I kept a questionable hand against a list like that. And yeah, unfortunately against mono green, you don't really get the opportunity to come back after you stumble like that. So them's the breaks. You know, definitely I think another hand might have been able to win that game, but you know, we really needed the top of the deck to be kind to us after keeping that hand, and we unfortunately just didn't quite get there. But we did get the 2 wins before that. It's obviously a really powerful deck. Feels absolutely degenerate when you can get going and, you know, get that synergy and interaction between Jespera Sentinel and Magda ramping out the turn 3 gold span. You know, and you can just vomit your hand in the first few turns and be getting in for 4 damage in the air. Really hard for a lot of decks to keep pace with that and come back from that. So it's definitely a great deck. Definitely maybe consider checking out or trying something like that. The treasures enabling and some of the dual lands enabling the ability to run a light blue splash for counter spells as well, I think is also really important in the meta at the moment with the amount of epiphanies and other sort of degenerate over-the-top combo strategies going on at the moment. I definitely don't feel entirely comfortable running a list that doesn't have access to counter spells right now. You know, and this list gives you all that aggression and that possibility for explosive starts while still giving you that capacity to hold up shields with some counter magic and protect yourself, or, you know, disrupt a critical drop from your opponent to just solidify your lead. Obviously a great deck. You can see why it got so far in the tournament, particularly being piloted by someone as skilled as Temur. Obviously a great deck. You can see why it got so far in the tournament, particularly being piloted by someone as skilled as Temur. But again, fantastic weekend for Magic lovers. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed watching some of the games as much as I did. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Until next time, stay brilliant, and I'll catch you real soon.